It began as a line of steel across an endless wilderness, became the thread that stitched the American West together. Today, it is silent. The rails are gone, the stations abandoned, the whistle's echo lost to time. Yet without it, much of the West as we know it would never have existed. This is the story of the forgotten railroad that built a frontier and then disappeared from the map. In the late 19th century, the West was a land of vast promise, but also of isolation. Great distances separated farms, towns, and mines from the rest of the country. The East was booming with industry, but the riches of the West, its gold, silver, cattle, timber, remained locked behind mountains and deserts. What was needed was a lifeline. And in 1872, that lifeline began to take shape. The Pacific and Frontier Railway. Its vision was ambitious, to carve a path from the heart of Kansas through the Rockies, reaching deep into the newly settled territories. For settlers, it was more than a railway. It was a promise. A steel road that would carry goods, people, and opportunity where none had gone before. The first trains were modest, a single coal-burning engine, a few wooden cars rattling over newly laid track. But they brought with them something priceless: connection. Remote ranchers could now send cattle to market in days instead of weeks. Miners shipped there or to smelters back east. Small towns sprung up beside the rails almost overnight, each with a station at its heart. In one such town, Red Rock Junction, the railway was everything. Its single platform bustled from dawn until dusk. Children waved at passing locomotives, shopkeepers greeted the station master like family, and the whistle at midday was as regular as the tolling of a church bell. Red Rock's population tripled in less than a decade, and its main street filled with hotels, saloons, and general stores. All thanks to the line. But railroads are fragile giants. They require constant upkeep, steady profit, and political will. The Pacific and Frontier was built in an era of fierce competition, where rival companies battled for routes and government subsidies. When the Great Panic of 1893 struck, banks failed, freight slowed, and the railway's debts piled high. Then came the final blow. A new transcontinental route was completed just north of the Pacific and Frontier Spath. It was faster, straighter, and more modern. Freight contracts shifted overnight. Passenger traffic dried up. Within a few years, entire sections of the line were abandoned. For towns like Red Rock Junction, the change was instant and brutal. The last train rolled through one gray November morning, its whistle sounding like a farewell. Businesses shuttered within months. Families packed what they could and followed opportunity elsewhere. The station doors were locked, the tracks pulled up for scrap, and the prairie began to reclaim what had been built. Today, walking along the old railbed, the past still clings to the earth. Weathered ties lie buried in the grass. Rusted nails glint in the sun. In some places, the stone foundations of stations stand like sentinels, watching over a landscape that no longer needs them. In Red Rock Junction, only a handful of buildings remain. The faded hotel, the skeletal frame of the water tower, and the station itself, its roof sagging, its ticket window still marked with prices from a century ago. On quiet days when the wind moves just right, it feels as if the sound of an approaching train could rise from the horizon. Railroads like the Pacific and Frontier were more than steel and timber. They were arteries through which the lifeblood of the West flowed. They carried not only goods and mail, but dreams, reunions, and goodbyes. As one old conductor once wrote in his diary, "We weren't just taking people somewhere, we're bringing the world to their doorstep." The story of the Forgotten Railroad is not just about loss. It is about the resilience of the human spirit. How communities rose from nothing when opportunity arrived, and how they endured when it was taken away. Many who left Red Rock Junction carried its memory with them, telling stories to children and grandchildren about the days when the whistle's cry meant life itself.
Oh.
The rails may be gone, but the legacy remains woven into the fabric of the West. Every road that now cuts across the prairie, every small town that still stands where a station once did, is a faint echo of the line that came before. Some histories fade quietly into the soil, marked only by the traces left behind. Others live on in the way they shaped the land and the people who called it home. The Pacific and Frontier Railway may be forgotten by name, but the world it helped to build remains all around us. The whistle is silent now, but the West it helped create still speaks. If you know how to listen,